This is the Glass Cannon Network.
It's that time again and again and again and again. You are watching the Game Garage, where we play tabletop role-playing games that I like. I'm your host and game master, Jared Logan, and you have tuned into episode 3 of TimeWatch. TimeWatch, the incredible game by Pelgrane Press and Kevin Culp, where you play time police, people who are burdened with the heavy responsibility of saving the time stream from insidious invaders who would deviate it. And the people that are helping me save the time stream are the same people you've seen in the last 2 episodes. The wonderful, amazing, talented Paula Deming, Mary Lou, and Joe O'Brien, everybody.
No one's ever called me amazingly talented. Thank you, Jared. I know I got
that only applied to Paula and Mary Lou, actually.
I shouldn't have said anything.
I actually got
my syntax was confusing there. Yeah, sorry about
for
that.
You, Joe. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, sorry. That wasn't a blanket. Yeah.
I'm glad we're not in the Game Garage playing games that you dislike.
That would be a weird show.
A bummer.
Yeah.
That's the Game Garbage, where we play games that I dislike. Yeah.
The likely spinoff to the hugely successful Game Garage, Game Garbage.
Yeah.
I like
that
it.
would be interesting. Games that Jared hates, and then we would just like play backgammon.
You don't like backgammon?
Actually, I don't want to cast aspersions on backgammon. It was just the first reference that came to my mind when I thought of a boring game.
Sure.
Okay.
Backgammon's great. I love backgammon. It's not really a stream kind of game. You know,
No,
really.
it's not the best streamable game, I don't think.
I guess it also depends on the players, right? Depends on the players.
Not yet.
That's true.
Yeah.
Should we try something like this? Should we be like, hey, we're streaming chess. Come and check out.
People stream chess all the time, man.
I bet that's a
thing. I don't think chess is a good example. We got to think of something else.
Should we stream
Go
gin rummy?
fish.
Go Fish? Gin rummy, yeah. Checkers.
Oh,
Join
Good
Jared in the
stuff.
employee lounge for a wild game of checkers. That could be
forgive
really
me
fun.
if I don't. Don't mind if I don't.
Well, here we are, back to Save the Time stream again. Last time we ended kind of in the middle of our climax. How does everybody feel about how they've altered the time stream in their attempt to save it? How does everybody feel?
I'm stressed. I'm still stressed. I'm really stressed
You're
out.
next.
Okay?
Your turn is next. Get ready.
I'm not.
I feel like it's just not what I expected. First of all, I expected to be hopping into something very, very distant, right? Past, future, whatever it was. I wasn't expecting the 60s. And then to have it be like everything that we're doing, it's just so weird because we're not like saving people who died that weren't meant to or something like that. And so as much, well, we are, right, with the ultimate nuclear annihilations, but it's just so funny to be like, you need John F. Kennedy to be rich and president. You need his father to manipulate the prohibition and get rich for being a criminal. And you need, to be like, I never thought that it would flow that way, but it's interesting how it all dominoes. I just never thought about it.
Well,
I do feel guilty that like, wow, JFK could just stay alive. We're dooming him to his death.
Yeah, like, let's correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I think that I'm bringing this from like, I don't know, that what was that movie? Oh, it's a terrific movie about Ted Kennedy and the incident at up
Chappaquiddick?
Yeah, Chappaquiddick. Wasn't their father like a bastard? Like, didn't they like not like their father?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Am I wrong on that interpretation?
Look, there's a lot of fictionalization that occurs in these movies, but when it comes to my game of TimeWatch, I have maintained specific verisimilitude. Every single detail has been combed over, and I can tell you that the history I'm giving you is 100% factual in every way.
Got it.
Okay. Good to
So
know. But I'm
I don't know what happened in this movie, Joe, but my version of Joe Kennedy is canon.
I'm just
And
saying.
is he a bastard or not?
Yeah, you tell us.
You tell us, since you know.
He's dead in this timeline. I like
Oh, he's
Paula's
dead. You're right.
interpretation. I also feel bad because that John Kennedy, that barbershop, seems so happy.
He seemed really happy.
Exactly.
Maybe he really was like meant to be a hairdresser.
Right. But then the whole world explodes in nuclear war. So maybe it's not the best.
He has to die so the
He had
world
to
can
take one
live,
for the team.
everybody.
Yeah.
It's the prime directive. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
That's
Is that the
of
prime directive?
No,
I'm not sure. I could be confused.
it's absolutely not.
Right, the prime directive states, yeah, that's the prime directive. Listen,
Sure.
if I'm wrong, sound off in the chat. I'm not watching, so I'm not bothered by it. No, I'm probably watching.
I'm almost dead. Speaking of people who need to die.
Let's leap right back in because we've got
Talking
a
about
lot
that.
of story to finish and then maybe another story to start. So here we go. We are back in Medicine Lodge,
God.
Kansas. Medicine Lodge, Kansas. The year is 1900. The next morning, Carrie Nation was due to receive her vision telling her to go to Kiowa and bust up a bar, but the vision has come early. Captain Pate has intercepted the strange cockroach-like alien that was posing as her daughter. Meanwhile, in a saloon in town, Dakota Blaze and Imogene Dupree have intercepted the cockroach creature that was posing as her husband. Dakota has just been leaped upon by the cockroach monster. It is ripping her to shreds. It is Imogene Dupree's turn to act. Imogene, what do you do and who will go at the top of the next round? It could even be you. Answer the second question first. Joe's gonna say that there's something else I forgot to do. What is it, Joe?
My turn. We ended on my attack that I never actually rolled.
Oh, you never finished it?
Yeah,
Right.
I had
Swinging
that's right,
the
a saber. And I was like, I remember I was going to swing it, and I haven't
Nope,
swung it.
0 damage. We're moving on. Okay.
That's fair. That's fair.
No, go ahead. Go ahead and did you succeed in your attack? Did you roll it yet?
I never rolled.
Okay, here we go.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do scuffling, and I'm going to roll. I'm going to spend 3 points on this attack.
Ooh,
because
so
I have to hit. I have to hit.
That usually in this system guarantees a hit because difficulties are usually 4, and if you roll a 1 plus 3, you get a 4.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't know if the difficulty is a little higher here. I don't see why it would be, but I want to try to guarantee a hit. Nonetheless, I'm going to roll, and I rolled a 1. So that is a
good thing you
4.
spent 3.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Good thing you spent 3. So you do succeed because you spent that
Okay.
3.
All right,
Yeah,
great. And then
nicely
damage
done.
roll. I'm with the saber. It gives me +1 to damage, so it's just a D6 +1 damage.
That's right.
Okay. Come on, this would be awesome to get a
Roll
huge
six,
hit
please.
off. 6 damage.
There it is. 7 altogether, right?
Come on.
Slices right through this thing's upper thorax. Ichor
yes.
goes all over the blade.
You've made it angry. Its hissing becomes even more high pitched. And it says in its weird language, "Who are you?"
Who am I? Who are you? He points the saber like at its
doesn't know
face.
who you are.
Wait. Have we met before?
Not yet.
When do we meet? Why?
It's just going. It's just threateningly doing the business of a giant bug that kills people. Okay, moving on. Now we can finally go to the thing I teed up. You see your compatriot Dakota beneath this giant verminous
Help!
cockroach. Imogene Dupree, what do you do?
Dakota, stay strong. I'm coming, honey. So, okay, here's the thing. I want to stun my cockroach. However, I have 0 in shooting. I didn't realize that the pacifist was a gun. I thought it was like a fist, like a gauntlet. So,
Well, you can roll scuffling. With
Can I roll
the gun
scuffling instead?
as long as you're right up next to it. Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have to get within range where it could hit you.
okay, but before I do that, I'm going to choose who goes next. I'm choosing the townspeople. I'm choosing the
Okay.
townspeople in the bar because I think they would also try and save Dakota. Okay, I'm going to scuffling. I'm going to try and bop him right in the back of the head.
Hit him.
And oh no, my cat stole my. Okay, my cat stole my dice. All right, let me get
Your cat stole your homework?
Fat boy.
My cat stole my. Fat boy stole my dice, and I don't know where it went. But I've got another one. Okay, here we go. No, I'm gonna spend points.
Yeah.
Okay, how many?
I'm gonna spend 3 points. I really don't want Dakota to die. So I have.
Paula's
I really
so
don't
happy. Tears
Dakota
of joy.
to die. So. Okay, that's a 4 + 3. That's 7 to hit.
Okay, that's a hit, and so now it needs to resist, and it has.
Fail.
It's
Fail.
been tough to get it to. It's been tough to stun them before.
I know.
So let's see how it does.
Come on.
Oh, should I have just stabbed him? I don't know.
I can't believe this. So, well, I'll just say that it's very tough to stun these things, unless they roll a 1.
Yes.
Boom! The thing goes down,
Imaging!
clacking to the floor, and then it is the turn of the townspeople, and they all rush forward with their gun. They pull. One of them pulls Dakota out from under it, and the rest of them just start smashing it with clubs and with their guns, and they're killing it.
Right.
Just so you know, they're killing it. And
Right.
the townspeople declare that Captain Pate will go next.
All right. All right. So then Captain Pate will declare that Dakota goes next.
Yeah.
Which is going to put a lot in their court. But hopefully I can do this now. I'm going to push the action here. I'm going to try to kill this thing, and I'm going to swing again.
Okay.
This is getting dicey because another guaranteed hit, and I have no more points. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Right.
do I hit? I think I am. I think this is life and death here. I'm going to guarantee the hit. So another 3 points, and now I'm done spending points.
Okay.
And he attacks. Okay, so I rolled a 4, so that's 7.
Yep, that's a hit.
Connects again, and says, "Answer me!" And then he stabs it through for another 6 points of
Yeah.
damage.
Very well done, but I can tell you it's still not down.
So this thing is
Still
strong,
not
definitely
dead.
stronger than I am.
And that's
That would
when
have killed me.
Carrie Nation gets to her feet. She pulls her hatchet out
Yes.
and she says, "For Jesus Christ!" Yes! And she goes out of the initiative order because I decided it's so, and I'm the game master. And she makes an attack. And she spends, and she succeeds in hitting because her roll on its own succeeded. And with her hatchet, she does.
Go Carrie,
Another-
go Carrie, go. Go Carrie, go Carrie, go.
go.
Her hatchet is sticking out of the back of the thing, and it is still not down.
Oh, man.
And it is its turn, and it gets to decide who. Oh no! Wait,
no,
it
Dakota
must
goes.
choose. It must choose Dakota, mustn't it?
No,
Yes,
no.
it-
It's Dakota's turn to choose.
Oh yeah, it's
And go.
Dakota. It's your turn,
Not that
Dakota.
this doesn't really help that situation over at the house at all. Can't do anything about that. But,
Nope.
okay, so they are killing. How close to dead does this bug look that the townspeople are?
Now that they're opening up on it, pretty close.
I go, is there any reason to keep this thing alive, Imogene?
No. Squash that bug.
And I'll get up, and I'm hurt. But I'm like, it's time to deal with you the way we deal with all cockroaches around here. And I'm gonna take my foot and use my athletics and stomp down on its face.
If you're using your athletics, how many points are you spending?
I'll spend 3.
Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
All right. You can go ahead and roll. I just want to see what the roll ends up being.
4 plus 3 is 7.
Okay. You smash down on its head as hard as you can. Wouldn't be possible if it wasn't unconscious and already beaten pretty badly. And you squash the bug. And for that incredible demonstration, I'm going to give you a stitch.
I was going to give a stitch. Perfect
Yeah.
stitch,
Oh, yeah.
Jared. Perfect
Definitely.
stitch.
Yeah.
That's a
That
good
was
stitch.
awesome. Just squash
squash
it
that
like a bug. Squash that
And it
bug.
hurt when it did because it ripped into me, and I'm really like, I'm a little pale from loss of blood, and I'm not doing that. Took like all the energy I had left.
All
I just
the
kinda, like,
sweeter
fall off of it.
revenge.
So you have the bugs must go next, right? But there's only one bug left. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and leave our ladies back at the saloon, and we're just going to stick to an initiative order, starting with the bugs that are ending this round. They can decide who goes next, and then it will be Carrie Nation and Captain Pate who are in this combat now. And here's what's going to happen: the bugs are going to declare that they go next at the beginning of the next round. So they're going to attack. The one bug is going to attack twice. Oh, and it first will attack Carrie Nation, maybe killing her. Let's see.
Oh, that would
no.
be bad as well. That would be bad.
Wait. Oh no. Okay. So when you're doing teamwork, it's just to like add to an ally's attack, right? You can't like add to an ally's defense.
No, I'm afraid not.
Okay.
You can't add to one's hit threshold through aiding. So this bug hits, and it does 5 damage to Carrie Nation, who gets thrown across the room, smashes into like a kitchen shelf that had lots of little chinaware and stuff on it, which shatters and falls on top of her. This is an older woman. Does this thing have no decency? Of course not. It's from a rogue timeline. And then, top of the round, it turns toward Captain Pate, and it's ready to finish him off. And it attacks.
And it could.
Oh, and it declares that Captain Pate will go next, and it attacks, and it hits.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
And now it rolls its damage, and it does 8 damage.
Can I?
All right, that
Now,
puts me
here's the
below 0.
So you must now make a stun resistance right now.
Oh no.
To prevent yourself from going unconscious. But it being in the negative does not mean that you are dead. It just means that you are having trouble staying awake.
Oh, okay.
I know we're not in initiative and stuff anymore, but if there is a thought of something we think we might be able to do that could help.
Yeah, you certainly could. Yeah, so let's handle that as soon as we finish calculating this. So 0 to -5, you're only hurt. You must make a consciousness roll to stay conscious. That is a health roll. So you could even go farther into the negative to add to this roll to stay conscious. But once you get to -6 to -11, you are seriously wounded. So how far in the negative are you?
-2.
Okay, so you could spend up to 3 points to kind of succeed on this roll to stay conscious and finish this fight.
Yeah. All right. He'll spend 3 and go to -5 to stay conscious.
Okay, because at -6 he has to make another consciousness roll, and that means he's seriously wounded. But right now he's using all of his willpower and all of whatever constitution is left to him to stay awake. And you have a general ability difficulty is increased by 1 until you're above 0 health.
Oh shit.
Yep,
Okay.
that's right. But
This is
the
very
bug
bad.
did declare Captain Pate is going next. But first, I want to check in with the ladies. Yes.
I have an idea. I want to use my paradox prevention, and I want to say, Imogene, pull out your autochron, and I want us to go back 10 minutes ago to the location where Captain Pate is to try and show up and help. Is that a thing we can do?
That is absolutely a thing that you can do.
What?
Okay,
Amazing.
so are you spending a point of paradox prevention? Is that what you told me?
I will spend my 1 point of paradox prevention so that we can try and go back just enough time to keep him from going unconscious and be there to help do more damage.
Okay, Captain Pate, I'm not exactly sure how to rule this. I think I'm using the system correctly. Suddenly, Imogene, you agree to this?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, suddenly, take away that 8 damage you just took, and the additional you used to stay conscious.
Really?
Because
Okay. Oh, that's the paradox prevention. It undoes something that already happened.
Well, they arrive right. You just said that you wanted to arrive right before that happened, right? 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to rule that 10 minutes ago means right before that blow landed. And I will put you back into the initiative order here. So, I've totally lost it because now we're inserting people in. But basically, before the bug goes, both Dakota and Imogene may go. But you both must make travel tests. Please make travel tests for me.
Oh, I rolled a 6.
Got a 1 again.
Oh, man.
Lose 2 more.
My chronal stability is poor. I'm on 2.
That's bad.
You arrive just as Carrie Nation is smashed into the shelf. And the creature is the creature is lurching toward Captain Pate, and I'm going to say that because you are there now, Captain Pate, you can the creature can declare. Well, the creature could still declare itself to go again, but the whole point of you spending a point of paradox prevention is that you would arrive here. So you may go ahead and act, Dakota, before that happens, before the attack happens.
So here's what I'm imagining, that they are doing their second attack. You're obviously, you run the game, so you'll tell me. And as they go to get them, we show up and I just grab them and shove them out of the way so that the attack misses.
Oh, okay, I love that. I think that's great. Give me some sort of action roll to make that happen.
I'll use athletics.
Great.
And I'll spend 3 more points on it.
Okay, great.
So, I rolled a 5, so that's 8 total.
That's a success, and you push Captain Pate out of the way. He does not take the damage that he normally would have taken, so it's as if it was still the cockroach's turn, but you stop the damage from hitting home. That's basically what happened. And so the cockroach has to declare who goes next. Before he was going to declare Captain Pate because that was the only person left in the combat, but now he will declare Imogene Dupree.
Okay. I'm feeling a little nauseous.
Who will go after you? Who will go after you, Imogene?
Captain Pate.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay. I don't have shooting, but I do have scuffling, and I've already established that I like knives. So I'm gonna pull a knife out of my garter belt.
Yeah.
And I'm going to spend just in case so I have 1 left. I'm gonna spend 1 point of scuffling and hope I roll well.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try and stab this guy. 5. Yes. So that's 6.
That's a hit. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Roll your damage plus 1.
4. 4 damage. 3
4
plus 1.
damage. Okay, it is still going.
This thing is horrible.
And now it's Captain Pate's turn.
Okay.
Who will go after you?
After me, the creature will go.
Very good.
Because I'm going to kill it right now.
Yeah,
No, so
Let's do it.
he gets pushed out of the way by Dakota, and his first thought is Dakota, no! Because she's now in melee of this thing, and you're already hurt, aren't you? Aren't you hurt?
Yeah. I'm actively bleeding. We didn't.
Yeah, he's
it's
terrified at the
rough.
thought of this thing putting out Dakota. So he's like, no! And he tries to step in front. But at the same time, he's like, the importance of the timeline and the illusion is so present in his mind at all times with his preparedness and his reality anchor. So when you guys just appear and if she is laying on the floor seeing this, he's just like, the soldiers of the army of Jesus Christ have come to smite you, demon. And he turns to her one more time. Yeah. So just to let you guys know what the illusion is, right? And then he turns to her, and one more time, after she gets hit, he's like, I told you, this is the providence of angels, not mortals. Get out of here. And he goes to swing. So he's trying to stress, and he'll, I want to use authority for that. I'm not going to spend a point, but I'm just going to use that because he's just got that authoritative presence. But then I'm going to roll.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to spend a stitch to get 2 scuffling back.
That's
and
great.
I'm going to immediately spend that 2 scuffling on this
Right.
roll.
Nice.
So here we go. Trying to dodge a 1 here. I rolled a 2, so that's 4.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Is that a hit?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Oh, boy.
Because he doesn't have that additional difficulty because Dakota, because of the paradox.
You never got hurt.
Amazing. 7 damage, max.
Yes.
Damage!
Die. Come on.
Die.
His Officer Shaver.
Die.
It falls to its mini knees. It's not quite dead yet.
Whoa! Right, because like we have to go -2. Yeah.
But well, listen, I'm putting it at. It has 1 HP left, and it's like it's got it's barely able to stay alive, and now it's turn, right?
Yeah.
It uses a power it has of lightning quickness, and it starts scuttling out of the house.
Ew.
No. No.
No! Oh, it declares that the next person to go will be Dakota.
Okay.
And it scuttles out of the house quickly.
All right. After all this, Dakota's hurt. She's bleeding. She feels real dizzy. She feels awesome about what happened last time, and she wants to do it again. So she's gonna run after this thing, and she's gonna try and jump on this one's head as well and go, get squashed, and just try to like
Get squashed.
do it again.
GIT squashed.
And I will spend my
Get her squashed.
and I'll spend my last 2 points of athletics to try and have the strength to just like stamp on. She's just at this point like jumping up and down on
You're
it. You're
attacking with athletics. The rules say that's not possible, but I'm the GM and I say, why not let
can you
Dakota
scuffling instead, if
hog
that's-
tie this critter? So Dakota, give me the roll.
2 and 2, 4 total.
4 total. You know what? I don't think it's enough to hurt this thing.
Yeah, I think
and
you're
I think that
right.
as you jump on top
can't
of it,
work twice in a
and
row. I
it's
should've
running
known
out
better.
through the desert, and it's the orneriest bronco you've ever been on, Dakota. As you're
It
on top of
bucked
it,
me.
you feel as it starts to fade away.
No.
And you fall down into the desert dirt. It has clocked out.
Bastard.
Let's
All
talk
right,
about
lesson learned. Don't
the
do the same thing
aftermath.
twice.
Let's talk about the aftermath. I would like for each player in the aftermath of this encounter to tell me what they do to finish the mission. So let us begin where we just ended with Dakota. Dakota, and you know, there's a lot of things that you know, loose ends that need tying up. So Dakota, what do you do to finish the mission?
I will run. I'll go back over to the saloon and sit. I'd like to sit everybody down who is in there, the 4 people who are in there, and say, thank you so much for helping. You don't know what you did. You're heroes. And unfortunately, you won't be able to remember it. But I'll always remember it. I'll never forget the 4 of you. Now, if you trust me, we just got to do one more thing. And I'll pull out my stun gun and say, it won't hurt. You won't even know it happened. And hopefully they'll trust me enough to let me just stun and tag each of them.
I mean, you spent a point earlier, and I told you that they trust you, so they're not sure who you are or where you come from or what this is all about, but they stand there and they let you, boom, pummel them into unconsciousness using a ray gun.
That was
Amazing.
beautiful.
Now I'm gonna ask.
I was just gonna get them all drunk.
And I'll tag
Imogene
'em.
Dupree, what is
But that
your
was beautiful.
final action to tie up the loose ends in this mission?
Okay, so the only other loose ends I know of is Miss Carrie Nation, unless, oh no, the real Charlene
yeah.
and the real Pastor David Nation. I'm gonna go looking for them. I'm gonna go
Very
looking for
good.
them in the house.
Yeah, you don't find them in the house, but out in the barn, up in the hayloft, you find 2 cocoons.
Okay, I'm gonna. Are they passed out in their cocoons?
Oh yeah, they are in some sort of state of suspended animation.
Okay, so I'm gonna try and rip their cocoons off while mem tagging them. when they've got enough cocoon.
Charlene says, Mama? And then
Yes,
David
baby,
says,
don't worry. You're going home.
they climb out of their strange cocoons and they look at each other and they look around for you. Are you there?
No.
Yeah, you're already gone. They climb down out of the barn. They walk out onto the prairie and they are waiting for them as their beloved wife and mother, Carrie. She has a hatchet in one hand and little pieces of porcelain from her cracked china still hanging off of her hat and in her hair. And she puts her arms out and they run to her and they hug her. And she says to them, I have been given a great message from God. Alcohol comes from Satan.
Right.
And imbibing it causes people to turn into large cockroaches. I must spread this specific message as far and as wide as I can. And they say, we've had a strange experience too, Mother. I think you might be right. Let's go inside and pray and talk it over. Captain Pate, what is your final action to tie up the loose ends in this mission?
Well, I was going to say, I think that he, unless I'm missing something, I think that he talks to her before she goes out, like before he leaves.
Let's see what he said to her.
And he just says, like, he's like in a hand in his pocket, right? It's just like touching the mem tag. And he just holds a moment. And instead he leans kind of down to her. She's a little bit smaller than him and large, but she's a big woman, but he's a big dude. He just leans down a little bit and just says, remember everything you saw here today. Tell everyone of what happens to those who consume alcohol. Because he just knows, like, no one's going to believe her that, like, a bug creature burst out of her. You know what I mean? It's too wild of a story. As long as it's only her, she'll be into it enough to spread it. But nobody else is, they're all going to think that she's mad, right? But he'll say that it's a message from God and now I must return. But thank you. You are a servant of our Lord, and you will be remembered in heaven as long as you spend the rest of your days trying to stop anyone from drinking alcohol.
She raises her hatchet and says, with my family and God beside me, I swear I will end the imbibing of the demon booze.
Awesome. And then he'll
Very good.
go.
So I think that you are sufficiently hurt that you might clock back into the Citadel, spend some time recuperating.
Oh, and another thing that I just want to do is just definitely reconnect with Imogene, because she's like, she can't travel back without losing it forever. But she can if she gets lucky, but he's not willing to risk it. So he talks
Oh, really?
her.
Yeah.
So he goes back to Imogene before we jump, and he tells her what they did here and why they did it and how the timeline was fixed, you know, because she's starting to forget almost. And he's like, but now we have to go back to the 30, to the Citadel, and explains everything, and then passes on some more of his reality anchor to her. So he'll do 2 points to give you 4 points of chronal stability.
Thank you.
Very good. And so everybody make their travel test to go back to the Citadel.
Glad you did that, because I rolled a 1 again.
Oh my gosh, I rolled another 6. What is the deal?
I rolled a 4, so he passes it on the way home. But you take
I've only passed 1 chronal check. So I'm at 2 again.
Yeah, so just so I gave you 4 back. So you were at 6, and then you lost 2. So now you're at 4.
Oh, I thought you gave me 2.
I spent 2 to give you 4.
Oh, all right. Well, now I'm at 4 then.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, on that last jump, if she goes to 0, right, this is my understanding of it, is like she
I
loses her complete sense of personality
Right.
and self, and then she's like written out of the timeline, basically. It's-
Or written into it. At first, you become like someone native to that time period. So if Imogene lost all of her chronal stability, she would suddenly become a local, farmer
God.
there in Kansas.
and
But
unable to
Wow.
get back.
But you have succeeded, and so you return to the Citadel. And so we are back at the Citadel, and I would like for everybody to first sort of tell me a little bit about the Citadel. Where maybe you tell me about what your lodgings are like there, or maybe you tell me about an area that you hang out in a lot at the Citadel. But you are basically recuperating, and with this recuperation, I would like for everybody to gain back their investigative points because we've achieved the end of an episode.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
And I would like for everybody to replenish their general ability pools as well. But chronal stability, I'm only going to allow it to go up 2 points.
Wow.
Okay. But
about
health goes all the way
health?
back, right?
Health.
And so tell me a little bit about how you recuperate, and then you're going to have your debriefing with your superior officer, the man who sent you on the mission.
Well, I think Dakota would be in her. She's got like a little, like, almost like a dorm room style kind of lodging, I think. I don't think she's got a ton there. She's just, so it's kind of a small little efficiency, like, apartment off a hallway of residency area in the Citadel. And it's fairly Spartan, but she's got, lots of, she's a horse girl, so she's got lots of horse paraphernalia in there. Memorabilia from her days as a performer, and just some drawings of what she likes to imagine her parents looked like that she's framed and got up in there. She doesn't let anyone see those. If people come over, she puts those away because it's kind of dumb. She drew pictures of her parents. She doesn't even know what they look like, but they're there for her.
Very
And
good.
as she recuperates, she'll pull out a little bottle of Mother Carey's magical whiskey that she swiped
Contraband.
from the alternate
best.
timeline and just pour herself a little glass and sip on it.
Very good. Excellent. How is Imogene Dupree recuperating?
Well, Imogene doesn't spend a lot of time in her quarters. So it's actually not that fancy, but it's got a very well-stocked vanity where she does her powders and her rouge, and she does her hair, and her closet is full of outfits and clothes and accessories and wigs and gowns. But Imogene spends most of her time in either the mess hall or like the bar or
Which one? Tell me, because I want to describe it to you.
Okay, in the bar. She spends most of her time in the bar making connections, making friends, and just generally schmoozing.
So the bar is filled with people, personages from throughout history. There's a Neanderthal drinking some huge tub of glog of some sort, but there's also people from the future who are drinking out of colored spheres, and you can see cybernetic prosthesis on their faces and heads. By the way, we need to get into Dakota's
I
cybernetic
was just
hand.
thinking about that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, your arm!
I
My
was
cybernetic
thinking
arm
last
that we
week.
didn't even come into play.
I know. I was
Just remember, and there are, gentlemen from medieval times drinking small beer and singing German songs from the 13th century. And so that is everybody in the bar. And so she enjoys, after all of that adventure with Prohibition, she too enjoys a stiff drink. Hey, Imogene, is that what she does?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And so I will just quickly jump to Captain Pate. Captain Pate, what do you do to recuperate from that mission?
I think he does spend some time in his quarters. His quarters have been obviously, to me, I think, built to look like what's comfortable to him. And so even if a lot of it's artificial or illusory, heavy, dark oaken walls and tables, books stacked everywhere.
I'll do you one better. I'll say that the Citadel feels like it's made of a lot of places from history.
Okay.
So your particular little room is like a piece of a ship from 1840. That's kind of like tacked onto the side of the Citadel. And a lot of times when you walk through the Citadel, for a second it looks like you're walking through Versailles, and then the next thing you know, you're walking through, the Capitol building from the 1700s, the United States. So there's all these different places from history that have been combined into one architectural polyglot nightmare. Okay, go ahead.
I think that he spends a decent amount of time there reading, researching, learning history, because he wants to be as aware and prepared as possible. But then I think he does some unsanctioned but unobtrusive time travel. He is so I think that he...
Sorry, that's me.
That's okay.
There's yard work happening outside of my window at the moment, so it's interrupting your beautiful moment.
Could you please tell them that I'm having a beautiful moment? No, so I think that I don't want to take lightly the heresy of him presenting himself as an angel or a servant of God, in that way. And so I think that he goes back in time to London, 1834, and goes to a church that he used to attend. And we see him like standing in like the second row of this church, and there's a woman next to him who very close to him appears to be his wife. And then a couple rows behind him, there's a young man who you would know, but his name is William Collins. And then a few rows behind that is him again, like me, but the real me that's time traveling. And is just watching this guy, William Collins, who was his first officer on the ship, who died saving his life. And he's just watching him as he's praying on what happened, apologizing for his sins, and then again trying to think of a way to keep that guy alive without ruining the timeline. So he just keeps working these processes out when he has his free time, but then when he knows he's like, I can't be gone too long, he zips back.
And as soon as he gets back to his small kind of quarters, there's like the old communication systems from like an 1840 ship. It looks kind of like a gramophone coming out of the side of the wall, and he, Pate, bring your team to briefing room 317, please.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir. And he takes his boots down off the table where he was reading, closes a book, and he will go to Dakota's quarters and then subsequently Imogene's quarters. They've got something for us. Are you ready to meet?
Yeah, let's go do it, I guess. I'll be like kind of adjusting that arm a little bit, Yeah, I think I'm ready. I got some questions anyway about maybe some upgrades or something. Maybe now is the time I can talk to him about it.
What kind of upgrades? What are you thinking? As they're walking.
I just feel like it could, sometimes it's like, I really know it's there, and sometimes I completely forget. But sometimes I really know it's there, and I'd like to forget more, and maybe there's something we can do to make it feel a little more real. I'm not sure. I guess I just want to know it's possible.
I understand. And he's thinking about the own illusions he keeps of his life, they're not real, but like he keeps those illusions because he wants to feel like he's still who he was. And then we'll get Imogene.
Oh, all right. Back in the saddle, as it were.
Yes, no rest for the weary. Let's see what they need this time.
Are you hungover, or do you know how to hold your drink, Imogene?
Oh, she holds it hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's her whole life.
She knows how to handle a speakeasy. Okay. Soon you are in front of your mission officer, Major John Ashdown. He has a TimeWatch uniform, but it has been sort of tailored to look like, from his time period, an officer in the British Army during World War I.
Oh, wow.
And he was
Amazing.
assigned to Captain Pate because they have a little bit in common. And he's sort of vaguely from the same time period as the rest of you. You're pretty close on the timeline to each other. And he says, welcome, come on. He was recruited during the famous Angel of Mons incident during World War I. And he stands before you and he says, well, we've sent people back into the timeline to see the results of your latest escapade. And more or less successful, but very sloppy, ladies and gentlemen, very sloppy. And he brings up some holographic images of the temperance movement. And you see Carrie Nation and a bunch of other women standing with banners that say like, booze makes you a bug. And they've drawn like big cockroaches onto their banners and stuff. Many people thought that she was completely mad. And the Volstead Act barely passed, but it did pass. And I'm happy to say that this man, and he brings up a holographic, ask not what your country can do for you. He brings up John F. Kennedy, speaking to a crowd, and he says, yes, this man will be shot on schedule. So very good job.
Excellent.
All of you.
And we turn to each other, small claps. He will be horrifically murdered on schedule.
And each of you may take a stitch for successfully completing that mission.
Oh, nice. Okay.
All right.
Great.
Did we start with a stitch?
We
or-
You did, and you can never have more than 3. You can never have
full
more
up,
than 3.
Y'all.
Okay.
Gotta use them stitches, Paula. Use them
Yeah, I
stitches.
gotta use
Gotta
mine.
use them.
Can you use them on chronal stability?
Actually, no. I'm pretty sure you can't. I think I read that.
Okay.
How does
you
one
cannot use them for
improve
that.
their
I think
chronal
you can. I
stability?
think you can use them to not roll a travel roll. I think.
Yes, you can use them to
okay.
not roll a travel test. That's correct.
Got it. Okay, that's huge.
Well, I'm afraid I have another mission for you if you're up for it, but this one, let's try to be a little neater. Hospital corners, shall we say.
Major, quick question. Did y'all interrogate the bug we brought back? Do we know
We did.
how they
it
know
claims to
Captain
be a
Pate?
member of a species called the Iziru.
Zero?
Yes. Yes,
And what-
we've
and what do
encountered
they
them
want?
before.
Oh, they want the radioactive.
They want nuclear annihilation, Pate,
Right.
and we can't let them have it.
I forgot, Major. Yes.
Yes.
Did he admit how they know Captain Pate? Or was that just taunting?
We
They seem to be a little bit obsessed with him.
They did.
I'm
Yes, he
not
indicated
sure.
that we-
They
met.
like you.
Perhaps you meet an earlier incarnation of them later in your life, Pate.
Perhaps.
That's confusing.
It is. I don't like it.
Well, shall I tell you why I've brought you all here?
Yes, Major.
Yeah, shoot.
It appears that the War of Spanish Succession has started early and resulted in England conquering France. Although it heartens me to see our boys give the frogs a good flogging, this is a deviation from true history and must be corrected. We're sending you back to Paris in the year 1700 to see if you can determine the source of the problem. Are you ready to go over the top, lads?
Immediately.
Yes, Major.
Well, yeah, I'll definitely go over the top.
Paris. I was there once. Beautiful place.
Not so beautiful after the British have had their way with it, at least in this particular timeline. Be careful, we're not sure what would cause such an enormous change to history. In true history, the War of Spanish Succession never saw Britain invading France. This is a very strange change.
We'll do our best,
Well-
Major.
You can count on us to figure out the cause in just 1 or 2 time jumps.
And we will find out that cause and head off on our mission when we come back from our commercial break, which we are going to take right now.
This is awesome.
Our intrepid agents will travel into history to the year 1700, and they will find out what's going on after this short word from our sponsors. We've time traveled 5 minutes into the future. You've heard your sponsor, and now we're back. And we are ready to
good,
begin.
Logan. That's pretty good.
Right? Look, I'm a host. I'm a game master. I'm a comedian. Learn more about me on Facebook.com. All right. Here we are. We have begun our new mission. Major Ashdown, your handler at TimeWatch, has sent you to the year 1700, where, inexplicably, England has conquered France. That didn't happen in history, and so you've been sent back to Paris in the year 1700 to find out how this could have happened. And I'm going to go ahead and say that your autocrons form the bubble of space-time around you, and you watch as the small spheres of different eras bubble past your field of vision, and you feel like you're falling, until suddenly, whap! Your feet hit the cobbles of 18th century France, and I need everybody to make a travel test.
Okay, here we go. I'm scared.
I rolled a 6 again on this.
Oh,
I wish I was
wow,
rolling
you
6s on other things. This is gonna go bad, but I cannot believe I keep rolling a 6 on these tests.
Captain
I
Oswald,
didn't
this is
roll
a
a
new
1.
adventure, so you do not have to roll. Yes, Imogene,
Correct.
what did you say?
I didn't roll a 1.
What'd
I
you
rolled
roll?
a 2.
Oh.
Imogene,
I know. I have failed all but one of my
Imogene,
time tests.
perhaps your ability to slip into different identities with your disguise skill actually in some ways makes it hard for you to remember who you are. And that's
Who I
why
am.
time travel is a danger to poor Imogene sometimes. But here you are, you have arrived in 18th century France at the dawn of the 18th century, and you are looking out over a smoky, cobbled street. The buildings look kind of ravaged by flame. Definitely there has been fighting here. And up ahead you can hear the sound of hoofs and marching feet. The air is filled with the acrid odor of smoke, and you must tell me what you would like to do. Your job is to figure out why Britain has conquered France in the year 1700 and to stop it from happening, because by golly, it's a deviation from the time stream.
Okay.
Boy.
First, let's get our bearings. Who are these soldiers?
they
He'd like
British
to
or
get an
French?
eye on the marching that he hears. Are they British
Very
soldiers
good.
or are they French soldiers?
Yes, so looking over the top of the, kind of like a wall that's been partially torn down, Captain Pate sees a patrol of British soldiers. They're bearing the British flag, and there are, appears to be like an officer on horseback, and then a bunch of, footmen.
What do we look like?
Well,
Can we just
looking
change
down
it will or like...
your impersonator mesh is, I believe, chronomorphic. So it sort of fills in the gaps for people when they look at you. So yes, you have 18th century clothing on now.
But we look like French citizens or something? Like, we don't look like a British soldier, is my question.
You do not look like a British soldier, but as we learned in our last adventure, if you have a good disguise skill, you can hack that impersonator mesh and make it look like very specific people. In fact, if you have an 8 like Imogene Dupree, you can look like someone's already met.
Very impressive.
Do we want to infiltrate this little group, or should we maybe follow them and see what they're up to?
Yes.
Yeah, following them seems like not a bad idea, right? Just to see like maybe where their headquarters are, where they're reporting to.
Yeah, let's start there. At least it's something. So we'll stay... Keep your distance, he'll say, because if we look like French peasants or something like that, we don't want the, British soldiery to just kind of like shoot us on sight or like, shoo us away or whatever. So we'll keep our distance, but we'll follow. We'll track them.
Okay, very good. Would you like to use some sort of skill to kind of track them? You could use a general ability like unobtrusiveness, and Imogene Dupree could even negate the necessity for others to roll and just roll for both of you.
I have zero unobtrusiveness as a reminder to everyone.
Right, because Lil Dakota Blaze likes the spotlight.
I like the limelight, that's right.
I'm going to go ahead and use my nothing to see here skill and spend some points to make sure that we follow completely undetected.
Okay, very good. How many points are you spending?
I'm going to spend 2.
Okay. And give me your roll.
4.
Yeah.
4, very good.
So that's a 6.
So you got a 6 altogether. So they are completely unaware. Imogene is kind of going like, now, and like helping you like follow them. And you're going through the streets of Paris, and Paris seems utterly just decimated by the British. This is a time when muskets were used in warfare and cannon. And you can see that a lot of it has been hit by cannon. A lot of things look like they've been torched by the British. But you don't see any French citizens until your extremely adept unobtrusiveness allows you to spot right before it happens a group of peasants that look like they are not in British soldier uniforms, sneaking up behind one of the buildings, about to get the drop on the British soldiers. Would you like to continue to observe them, or would you like to help them, or would you like to help the British, or what would you like to do?
I want to watch and see what happens, but I'm open to hearing arguments if y'all think we should intervene in some way.
Well, part of me doesn't want them to attack these British soldiers. They're gonna get creamed.
Well, How well do they look? Do they look like they're going to be successful? I have military tactics.
Oh, yes. Your military tactics tells you these Frenchmen are going to get creamed.
Okay.
Because watching those British soldiers, your military tactics tells you that they are moving in perfect lockstep, even more than you would ever imagine. They seem to be perfectly disciplined, perfectly coordinated, and they check all their corners. And in fact, as you realize this, Dakota, they spot the French guerrillas. They spot the insurgents.
I'm sorry, I've stalled, and now they're gonna die.
Well, you can still act, but you can see now that the British are not in fact pulling muskets, but they are pulling clubs, and they are going to approach the Frenchmen using scuffling weapons. And the Frenchmen are all pulling guns, flintlocks, wheel-lock pistols, and the battle is about to begin. Captain Pate, is there something that you'd like to do? You can just watch it play out.
Yeah. He's like he doesn't want to expose their position just yet. That's his gut, but he could be talked out of it. Again, like Dakota, she also just sort of watched. He wants to see how these British soldiers fight. He also has military tactics, and if they are, he is for all intents and purposes a British soldier, basically, but he just went in through did more time in the Discovery Service, right, than in military operations. Though he was involved in some naval operations earlier in his career that were military. So he would know if they were overtrained, right? They're like, who are these men?
Yes.
They're not the ratbag street urchins I'm used to that the British Army would hire for infantry. So he's going to watch how they fight and sort of see, what's going on. Honestly, he's not concerned at all about the lives of these French peasants.
No.
He feels like they're going to fix all this, right? They're going to undo all this eventually. So
that makes sense. Imogene Dupree, you see that the British soldiers have all pulled clubs and are going to approach with scuffling weapons against these French peasants who are about to leap out of hiding with flintlock pistols. So now you're thinking perhaps, maybe the French are going to win because they're actually bringing firearms to bear. Imogene, is there anything you'd like to do? Dakota, is there anything you'd like to do, or do you want to follow Captain Pate's lead and just watch this play out?
Oh, it's My gut instinct is to yell like "run" in French, but I know that would jeopardize the mission, and I just want to be a good employee and a good time soldier. So I'm not going to say anything.
Very good. What about you, Dakota?
I also have a gut. Once I realize like something weird's going on, I have a gut instinct to try and do something to create a distraction. But I see, it's hard to swallow down the impulse to do it. But I also am like, no. Captain Pate thinks we should. I can tell he thinks we should just watch. So, all right, I'll just watch this happen.
Wait.
The French shout out, "Death to the black-tongued British!" And then they jump out of their hiding places and start firing their weapons. And you watch as the British, I'm actually going to roll for both sides, but I'm giving an advantage to one side, and I'm not going to tell you why. Oh, wow. They're actually, no. Okay. So you watch as the British in perfect coordination, like move to the sides and then in and like dodge the balls of shot that come flying at them. One of the British does get hit. Yeah, well, they kind of take cover perfectly, like at the perfect time, right? And then one of them does get hit by a shot, but the others manage to avoid it, and then they move in with surgical precision and start beating down the French, and they are each taking a different target, and the efficiency of this operation is sort of jaw-dropping. Your military tactics, Captain Pate, tell you this is like no unit you've ever seen in the British service.
Who's the commanding officer? Or, I mean, is there a clear commanding officer?
Yes, there is a clear commanding officer aboard a horse.
Is he speaking? Is he giving orders, or do they just do it like while he's watching?
Yes, he is giving orders. And in fact, are you listening to him?
Yeah.
Okay, you notice that he is not speaking English. He is wearing the colors of British, but he is saying something in a strange language. He's going, and as he says that, they are responding. He's like, and then they move, and they are all moving in perfect unity. And soon the French have been routed, even though they had guns, and several Frenchmen have been knocked out of their perches and are being beaten down by the British.
This is hard to describe, but it is not my countrymen. They wear the garb, but they don't speak the language, and language is everything. He's going to... Can I have could I do a history contemporary to just to see if I recognize the language, or have I never heard it before?
You can use your contemporary history, and you can realize that this is like no language you've ever heard. But in order to do this, you have to really study what he's saying. Do you do that? Do you really study what he's saying?
Yeah.
Okay. You have learned a little bit of what he's saying because you know what military maneuvers he's calling for, and you are connecting them to the strange words coming out of his mouth. And you have just earned a new interpersonal investigative ability. And I want you to call it mystery language right now. And I want you to give yourself 1 point in it.
Okay. So I spent a point of history contemporary, and I've opened up something. A question mark, mystery language under interpersonal.
That's correct.
Okay. Amazing. And I give myself 1 point in it? Is that what you said?
Yes, please give yourself 1 point in it.
Okay.
Cool.
Very cool.
I have a thought. Now, I've got some trivia, and I wonder if part of my military tactics training involved learning trivia about how different types of different formations, different styles of fighting of different kinds of armies. Maybe I would recognize from the trivia of, well, the Romans always fought like this, and actually a centurion only has 80 soldiers in it and 20 of other people, and that's what made up the 100, like that kind of trivia. And I wonder if, well, here's what Paula is thinking, so therefore here's what Dakota is thinking. Is this like a robot army? Why are they so precise? And I'm racking my brain for my trivia of robot army tactics to see if it matches any of this.
Wow, very interesting.
So, so you are.
Does it?
It does not match
All right.
a robot army. They're still shouting. Often a robot army would have radio communication, some sort of, almost telepathic, like computerized communication. And this is still requiring orders to be shouted, but they are moving with perfect precision.
So, I noticed that one of the soldiers was hit. How did the other soldiers react to that? Do they notice? Do they care for him once they've routed the French? Do they go back for this soldier, or is he dead or injured?
A very good question. They are helping the wounded soldier. And they are tying up the French soldiers that they have beaten down now. They are capturing the French soldiers that have not gotten away.
I'm so glad we watched. So are they, I have notice. Can I use notice to see if he's bleeding blood?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing. Good thinking.
Can we notice to see what color his tongue is?
Very good. I will allow you both, if you have notice, you can notice these things. Okay. He is bleeding normal colored blood.
Okay.
And his tongue is not black.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay, I want to follow these guys. I want to follow them back wherever they're taking these Frenchmen.
Yeah. Let's let them.
Because I know I'm fully mysteryed out.
Yeah. Do they start marching the Frenchmen?
Oh, they do. They do indeed. And if you'd like to follow them again, you'll need to make another unobtrusiveness test.
I'll do it again for all of us.
Very good.
Thank you.
I'm gonna spend.
That's it. You just say I use it for my team, and that's it. Like,
I believe that. I believe that's how I'm ruling it works right now. I have to look, but I think that's what the basic her booster allows her to do.
Oh, cool.
So I have to make a stealth check, but we all don't have to make a stealth check.
Yep.
So I'm gonna spend 2 more points, so I only have 4 now.
Okay.
Good, but I have 8.
Basically, do you guys have unobtrusiveness? I remember the rule exactly. I don't believe Dakota. Do you have unobtrusiveness?
I have none.
She has 0.
Right. So
I do.
And you do. Okay.
Yeah.
So normally you'd need to, in order to piggyback on someone else's roll, which is meaning let them roll and you don't have to roll it, you need to spend a point from it in order to do that. But because you have nothing to see here, even someone with 0 unobtrusiveness can piggyback on your roll without spending the point.
But someone who does have unobtrusiveness does have to spend the point?
I think that you do not have to.
Okay.
That is the way I'm ruling.
It's a big deal having 8 points in a skill.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Great. Okay, I spent 2. That means I should pass unless I roll a 1.
You made me so nervous.
I know, it was really stressful for a while.
Okay.
Because it was on my desk with the one
you said you
facing
spent 2?
up. But it felt I spent 2, so that was a 5.
So you're able to follow them all the way back to where they have set up a giant camp around Notre Dame. And they
Amazing.
are marching. They are marching the Frenchmen inside the cathedral. And with your unobtrusiveness spend and the successful roll, if you'd like, you may follow them inside the cathedral, or you may stay outside with the others, where the other soldiers are sort of mingling about.
I wonder if we split here. I wonder if you two go in, pose as Frenchmen, see what they're talking about, and I stay out here and listen to this language, see if I can't find out what the soldiers are talking about.
Okay, but
Your thoughts?
Follow us inside when you learn something.
Okay.
I don't want to stay apart for too long. And also, something's weirding me out. Why do they use clubs instead of muskets?
It's real strange.
Well,
Something's weirding me out about that. I just want you to be careful, Captain.
They wanted to take them alive. I don't know why. You have to get inside. That'll hopefully answer that question.
That's a
What are
good
they
point.
doing? Are they...
Can I, before we split up, I would like to tinker, and I'll probably spend something to do it, to set up a thing where we can communicate with each other through our tethers.
Oh, very good. Your tether should be able to do that anyway.
Do it. Okay,
so,
great.
yeah, you can communicate with each other.
Maybe we can do like a little, like a text message, or we have it so we're always listening to each other, and we have like a little code word if something bad happens, or just a little, maybe it's more like an Apple Watch or something where we can like get texts on it. Don't forget we can...
You always pick the best code words.
Oh.
What should we use?
Okay. The code word is coffee.
All right.
Coffee.
We say
Code word's coffee. I don't know. I really miss coffee.
Well, okay, so if something's going wrong, we'll let each other know by saying we would love a big old cup of coffee.
Bring me a
cup of coffee.
Please bring me a cup of coffee. All right.
All right.
Good.
Good luck, folks. Let's head in there, little
this.
Dakota.
All right, I'm going.
We're gonna sneak in.
Yes, you enter the cathedral, and you see that they have tens of Frenchmen chained to the pews, sitting and facing the front of the church. And on the altar where normally service would be held, they have set up enormous chalkboards. And on those chalkboards, they have drawn a bunch of strange symbols that you do not recognize. And a British officer is pointing to the symbols and saying, Visselden, Visselden, Larve Morve, Larve Morve. And the Frenchmen are being forced to repeat what is being said as they apparently instruct them on this alphabet or whatever's happening. And would you like to continue to watch, or would you like to do something else?
Something tells me that continuing to watch will, like, I don't know if there's like some hypnosis or brainwashing going on.
Yeah.
So I don't want to listen and watch, but I do want to continue investigating. So maybe we keep sneaking around until we can find a different room or maybe somewhere else.
Okay, I will. You want to keep sneaking around? Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
What was your idea, Paula?
Well, no, I was just going to say, I just keep looking at my skills, trying to figure out if there's something I have that would be like particularly useful in all moments. But I do have architecture. So I wonder if I have knowledge. I would like to use my architecture to tap into some knowledge I would have about this very famous building on either a good place for us to like have a hiding spot to observe, or if there is a place of significance in here that we might be like, oh, this is where the ley lines all meet and that's where a thing's gonna happen. I don't know. Those are two totally different things. I'm all over the place.
Do you want a good place to hide or a significant place? How about a good place to hide?
Okay, we'll do a good place to hide.
From your hiding space, you know, in one of the sort of like side galleries where there are like little shrines and things. It's very dark over here. No one sees you. You watch as they bring in more French soldiers and they dig something out of their ears, and you see that they're digging wax out of their ears, and then they are chaining them to the pews.
Oh yeah, so there is something about hearing. Oh no, Captain Pate's out there. Listen into this language.
Meanwhile, outside. Oh, no! Captain Pate, you continue to listen, and you notice something interesting. You're watching these British soldiers, right? Mm-hmm. You realize that you think that you could probably speak to them in this language if you wanted to.
Okay. Knowing that.
I'll let you know what their behavior is like. They don't hang on, they don't like lean. They don't like laugh. They don't like spit. They don't pick their nose. They don't yawn. They don't do any of the things that you know that soldiers do. Instead, they stand at attention. And yes, they talk to each other, but you're pretty sure that everything that they're saying is necessary for the business of guarding and maintaining this outpost.
Okay.
And you're pretty sure you could talk to them with what you've learned.
Okay. What if, could I use my preparedness? I feel like this isn't a stretch if the only thing that's really different is the language and the personality. Could I make a preparedness roll to say that I brought on this mission to 1700 where we knew it was going to be involving British soldiers, a British soldier's uniform?
Yes, of course. In fact, you could have already programmed your impersonator mesh to bring that appearance on yourself. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted to say, like, it's not a disguise roll because, like, with preparedness, you can bring non-standard mundane items, you know, and I don't want it to be something someone could easily see through. So I'd rather just bring an actual suit.
Okay, you've done
because it seems easy enough. Yeah. Okay, so then he's going to dress in an officer uniform, and we'll say like a lieutenant uniform, right? So like a low-grade officer, and he's going to walk around a little bit more. So could I do just a notice, sort of like walking around the cathedral and stuff like that to see if I know anything other than what you've already said. All the soldiers are, you know, fully, they're not lounging around at all. They are all on task, et cetera, et cetera. Do I learn anything different from like doing a perimeter of the whole cathedral and all the men out there?
Yes, you eventually see them bring a Frenchman out of the cathedral. And the Frenchman is saying, Lardat, Med, Nordat, Rat, Samatsur. And they all nod and go, Samatsur. And then they hand him a British uniform. And he takes off his French rags and he puts it on and he immediately joins a patrol heading out into the city.
Okay. This is so weird. He will go up to these soldiers that just passed off the uniform, and he'll say the equivalent in this language of "well done" to them. Well done. Any more coming today?
Very good. I need you to make a chronal stability test.
Oh my god.
Chronal stability test?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So I can spend points if I want.
Yes, but it's this is a special case chronal stability test. It is not that you are about to lose chronal stability. Something else might be about to happen to you. Would you like to make it? Make this test.
Yes, and I will spend 2 points of chronal stability. And I rolled a 2, so that's 4.
Okay, that is a success, and so you are pretty sure that you've communicated in this language, and you realize even in this moment, Captain Pate, that this makes no sense. You shouldn't be able to speak this language
this quickly
after hearing it for the first time an hour ago.
Yeah.
But you're pretty sure you have communicated it correctly, and they turn to you and say, the heralds of Tapek are strong here. The timeline and plan goes accordingly. Soon, all of France will fall under the benevolent tongue of Tapek. And now I would like you to change that mystery language to Tapek. TE''PK.
All right. This is amazing. Okay. He is now then going to nod, not speak, but just nod when they say, all's going well, whatever. And then he'll just walk into the cathedral.
Walking into the cathedral,
and he's looking for these two.
If he's connected to his friends, via the tether, then you guys can find each other quickly.
He's like, where are you hiding? Talking into his lapel.
Yeah, and I'll kind of tell him where we're up in the little balcony area where we're hidden around in the little column thing. And
okay.
Yeah, I see you.
Stay tight.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. And even while they're talking, I'm not listening because I'm using my tinkering. I'm trying to make earplugs for all three of us. Maybe I have like some cotton that I've ripped off my clothing, or I don't have preparedness, so maybe I didn't bring it, but I'm tinkering somehow earplugs for all three of us, and I'm saying, don't say another word. Put these in right now.
All right. He will, seeing Imogene's urgency, he'll take them and...
Wait a minute. I have a thought.
I can't hear what you're saying.
Okay, I'll type it into my. I'll do speech to text into my.
Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like these people are all. First of all, real good idea about the earplugs, Imogene. It's so good. These people are all being like brainwashed by this language, right?
Yes, that's why they call it the black tongue. Not because they have black tongues, because when they speak, it brainwashes people into joining their side. It's like their language is poison.
Okay, what if we rig up something to like blast really loud music all through town, or at least all through, like use the organ or something, I don't know, all through the cathedral here, and it'll drown out the sound of the language, and maybe it'll snap them all out of it.
Ooh, that's fascinating.
That doesn't help us solve the problem. We need to find out where the language came from in the first place. We need to find out how it got into England.
But if we snap them out of it, can we question them about it? Or maybe not, maybe they don't know.
Oh, you're saying snap the soldiers out of it, not the prisoners. I understand.
Clear out everybody and then be like, why? How did this happen to you?
From what I've seen, they're too far gone. I don't think that it's about hearing the language over and over. Once you're turned, you're turned. But its source, I have found, I have a name. Tapek. Does this ring a bell for you at all? And he wants to do, well, first he'll start with contemporary history, see if he's ever heard that name before. What is contemporary? Oh, okay.
Contemporary is basically from the Middle Ages onward until, the 21st century.
Okay.
So the modern age. And, no, absolutely not. You've never heard of such a thing.
And what about Dakota? What about ancient history? Have we ever heard of anything like that? He's just wondering if this is like a dead language that resurfaced somewhere that was like, sorry.
That's a good question.
So
I have no history.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that you, Imogene? I forgot who
I have a point in ancient, contemporary, and future.
Right.
So I can.
What about you, Imogene? Ever hear that name before? Ancient history.
I don't know. Ancient. Have I?
Not in ancient histery.
Okay, future.
Oh, what about future?
I'm looking in future.
Yes.
What hasn't happened to us yet?
This sounds like a dangerous mimetic infection that was brought back by TimeWatch agents from a parallel timeline many, 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 many years in the future. TimeWatch has encountered this mimetic language before. It is called Tapek.
Interesting.
Should we
And it's dangerous. It's dangerous even to hear the name. In fact, you can feel yourself. You feel funny every time you utter it.
It's not that dangerous. It was actually quite comfortable. It rolled off the tongue.
Oh, Captain, I want you to be careful.
Yeah,
You've already heard the soldiers talk quite a lot. Are you feeling all right?
Oh, you need to stop. Okay, hush. Right now, you need to hush.
Let's go back.
We said hush.
Quiet.
He's totally
okay.
quiet.
Now talk.
Okay.
What are you going to do? You've diagnosed the problem. Mm-hmm. Now, what are you going to do?
I think we should send a report back to Major Ashdown. If TimeWatch, you said, Imogene, that TimeWatch has encountered this before. So maybe they'll know, maybe they'll have something they can give us that'll help protect us or others. So I think we should
that's
send
a good
back a report.
idea.
Fortunately, you cannot radio TimeWatch Citadel. You must go there, or and generally,
Send a message.
you'll have to make travel tests and go all the way back there.
I can't do too many more travel tests, you guys. My chronal stability is already at 4.
Oh, boy.
Oh, but I do
All
have 3
right.
stitches. Metagame,
Okay.
I have 3 stitches, so.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I would spend them on time tests. Okay, here are our options, in my opinion.
All right.
We either go back to the Citadel, get all the information that we can on these black tongue folks, and then come back. Or we go straight to Britain. We feel it has to have come from there, right? Like, we know the British invaded France. They wouldn't have done that.
They wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I just wonder how long ago it.
Yeah.
Yes, to the
you
system.
said their heralds are here? They're making way
Yeah, the
for
heralds.
France?
Glory of the heralds. Could I know from contemporary history, I mean, these two countries warred for so long that Britain would have smashed them a lot sooner than 1700. So does it stand to reason that this infection would be relatively recent to our time, like where we are now?
Very well reasoned. Yes. So the 100 Years' War took place in the 1300s and the 1400s between Britain and France. How come they didn't conquer them already, right? I mean, there were, at certain points, Britain conquered large swaths of land in France, but this is something completely different. So, based on your knowledge of contemporary history, the source of this must come from the last, 150 years.
Yes.
It could be very recent, you're not sure how quickly it spreads, or it could be 150 years ago.
Understood.
You could check in with TimeWatch by traveling back to the Citadel and seeing if they detect any other anomalies or have any suggestions, or you could start doing what agents often do, which is just jumping back a little ways, 50 years, and seeing what things look like.
Yeah.
I like the idea of going to TimeWatch, going to the Citadel. I just feel like it'll answer a few questions in one jump. But then again, we got to jump back. Yeah, why don't we just stay here? Let's do it ourselves.
Okay.
Let's do 50 years, as the GM suggested, because he knows the adventure. So
50 years.
does that sound like too much to you guys? Do you want to do 10 years? Like, what do you think?
No, I mean, I do think this probably happened pretty quickly, seeing how quickly they're able to turn these French
Yeah, I agree.
countrymen. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys came and hit shore like a year ago, 2 years ago. But 50 feels safe.
Right. Let's do 50. And
All right.
we'll go London.
London, 50 years ago. So
right.
we're talking the year 1650.
1650.
All right, let's
London.
go.
And so, yeah,
Champagne! Pop, pop, pop.
let's see those champagne bubbles.
I actually
And-
want some champagne here right now. A little sip of
Give me
champagne.
a
I'm bringing
travel
some to
test.
our next session.
Unless you're spending a stitch, give me a travel test.
I spent a stitch. No way I'm
Okay.
doing a travel
Alright.
check.
I got a 4 on mine.
And I'm good. That's 2.
Okay, very
204.
good. So you arrive in London, and boy, does it look familiar. I mean, it looks familiar from the war zone you just left, because it is in flames, and there is definitely sounds of guns and cannons going off nearby.
Is this the correct timeline? Was there a war in London at this time, or is this wrong?
So, the English Civil War between the Roundheads and the Royalists would have taken place around this time, but this is a little late. The English Civil War took place in the 1640s, and by this time, 10 years later, it would have died down a little bit. It would have Oliver Cromwell would have been firmly in power, and there should have been peace in London, not open warfare in the streets. So something strange is going on in London.
Team, make sure your earplugs are fully screwed in.
Got him in.
Where do we start?
Oh boy. All right. Well, I'm getting antsy.
Let's start with newspapers or pamphlets? Well, there's no printing press, right? But did they have
There's a printing press at this time.
There a printing press?
Very, very primitive. One sheet type newspapers, but you could certainly go and check those out.
Yeah,
if you'd
let's
like to.
try to find a newspaper of some kind.
Okay, so you find like an abandoned coffee house.
Coffee.
Coffee.
Yes, coffee. That's the code word. And,
They know. They're
by
on
the
to
way,
TimeWatch.
it's completely been kind of like a part of the wall is caved in, probably from some sort of cannon blast. But there, the cups are all on the floor, and it looks like a home because there weren't retail commercial locations back then. Everything kind of looked like a manor house or something. But you go inside, and there are in fact broadsheets on the floor, and you notice something about the broadsheets. One broadsheet says, stand against the traitors. And it's like, listen not to their foul and deceptive tongues. They will bring you onto the path of Satan. Stand with me, all true-born Englishmen will raise up arms and fight against the scholars and elites who think that they shall, take the nation away from the true-born British. And then you notice another broadsheet on the floor. And this one is covered in symbols you don't understand.
Don't look at it.
I said
Don't
that
look at
first.
it.
Don't you look at it.
No, I said it first.
You throw it to the ground immediately.
Look at what? As I'm like staring at. What is the date on the? Is there a date on the one that's like the traders, the scholars, true-born
Very,
British?
very recent. So it's dated. It's dated 2 weeks ago.
All right. Okay. So the scholars, right? So the scholars, the elites. It seems like this is. Okay, this is from 2 weeks ago, which means I think we need to go back again. Now, I know we don't want to make a bunch of jumps, but what if we go back a little earlier and see if we can catch this before it starts? We know that 2 weeks ago, things were still being printed in English, right? So if we go back a couple weeks before it's really taken over and find these scholars, these elites, maybe who are the ones who are like the nexus of the spread, patient zero, you know?
Can I know, again, with contemporary history, if the Roundheads or the Cavaliers, like if one of those groups would have been identifiable as like the elite? Like
Yes, the Cavaliers were royalists. They
Cavaliers were
followed
royalists.
Charles I, and they were generally taken from the higher strata of society, whereas the Roundheads were Protestants. They were simple. Many of them were landowning gentlemen. They were still nobles technically, but they were the country boys, the bumpkins.
Okay.
However, it looks like the English Civil War has happened differently, obviously.
Right, but I'm curious if we get to the source of the Royalists, if we get to the source of the Cavaliers, who their leadership was, if they were infected with this tongue, that's where it would pass down from theoretically?
It sounds like you're asking a question. What investigative ability are you using?
High society?
Very well reasoned. High society. So high society will tell you that the elites, the royalists, made their headquarters in Oxford University during the original English Civil War.
Excellent. I seem to remember Oxford was the military home of the Royalists during this time. To Oxford!
Right.
And
to Oxford,
we all get
but
on horses,
when?
right?
Oh,
we need horses.
now and this time. Great.
Are you going to go in this time? You're not taking a time travel. You're just traveling there now, right?
I think
Let's
so.
stay now. Let's stay now.
Yeah.
See if we can gather more information at Oxford and know exactly when to go back to.
Yeah, see, I like this because one of the reasons I like this game is you really feel the pressure of each time you travel. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
And you gotta
Yeah.
roll a die. So it makes you like, let's get more info before we just go jumping again wherever we feel like.
How are you finding horses? The streets are
we're-
sort of deserted. But you hear fighting not far away.
Right.
I mean, it's England, so we just like start walking, we'll hit a field, and probably at some point there'll be some horses there, right? I mean, come on. I know there'll be sheep. Let's go. We'll ride sheep.
Yeah, do you want to just start walking and see if you can stumble across something? Like leave London by like the Old Gate and see if you can find something out in the meadows in the suburbs of the city?
Yeah. Let's adventure. Let's just start walking.
Let's go, and maybe we'll come across a stable house or a carriage house or something, and we'll just like take it.
Oh, Dakota.
I do have burglary.
Haven't you always wanted to be a horse thief? A proper horse thief?
Yeah. And it's not in this game, but I bet I have animal handling.
I've been a horse thief, but I've never been proper.
You do as you say, and you walk on foot, and several times you come close to some fighting, but you never go over, one more street to see it actually happening. So you don't really have to evade soldiers yet. And you get out of one of the city gates, and you go out into the countryside where the rolling green hills of England present themselves. And soon you are looking at large manor houses, many of which were held by the wealthy at this time. And you can keep going to where you're really out in the villages of the countryside, or you can try one of these manor houses to try to maybe steal some horses. Is that what you're trying to do?
I think we should... because I think a manor house might have the best option in terms of like even like a carriage we could just like take with horses, unless y'all want to ride on the horses, but we could also take a carriage. I think a manor house is going to have the most to choose from.
I feel like I'd know my way around a little bit. The area just from my own life experience, and like, how far is it? It's like too far to just walk, right? Like we gotta come up with something, don't we?
I mean, it's not really. I mean, at this point, London wasn't the giant megalopolis that it is now. So it is conceivable that over the course of a day, you could walk out into the countryside and into the villages. But I also think Paula's plan sounds valid. Dakota is ready to steal a carriage right now. Do you want to try one of these manor houses?
Sure.
You see one?
Dakota, here's what Dakota will do. We'll see a manor house and go, I bet we can steal something from this, and just take off for it, because she's been holding back a lot. And I think she's just seeing that, and she goes, you know what? I'm just going to go after this, in hopes that everyone else will just follow her.
Very good.
There she goes.
Yeah. Very good.
And she's off.
So you head toward this large house, and it in fact has a large stables and a carriage house. So it's the kind of thing you're looking for, and you realize that it will create some amount of a din of noise to hitch up the horses and get them into this carriage and to make off with it. Mm-hmm. So I need some sort of skill roll, some sort of general skill roll to do this without being noticed.
I got 8 points in burglary. So I can
follow me.
Burgle
I've
this
got
house.
a little bit of burglary, but not a ton. But yeah, if you followed me and came along, then yeah, I'll let you handle that situation.
Oh yeah, no, I feel like
but
I definitely followed.
I'll spend a point in a burglary as well. Do it.
I do have fast hands, which that allows me. Is that just an item from somebody's pocket?
That allows you to pickpocket from people that you're fighting or engaged with. Yeah.
Right. Got it. Okay.
So how much are you spending on this burglary roll?
To burgle. Well, I want to decide whether we're burglaring. Is there a carriage that's already hitched up to some horses, or is it are there 3 horses that we could just throw some saddles on?
It's a carriage that you're hitching up to horses. That's why, you have to be really quiet about it.
Okay.
I'll help by talking to the horse, keeping the horses quiet as we're hitching them up. I can talk to them and soothe them. I got away. I've been called a horse whisperer once or twice. That means I whisper to them and it calms them down.
Oh, that's nice.
Does Captain Pate have any burglary?
No, he's got a 0. He's a man of honor, Logan.
Yes.
Does he have vehicles?
Yes, he does.
Good, because I can't drive this.
Give me that burglary roll.
Okay, I'm gonna spend 2 points on burglary. 6.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Nice.
The people in the house, if there are any in there, do not come out. They do not hear you. as you very slowly take the carriage out, and I assume that Captain Pate with his vehicle's mastery is the one who is driving.
Yes.
Very good. And so over the course of the night, because it took you all day to walk out here into the countryside, over the course of that night, and you see far off fires burning, some in London, maybe some in the villages where there's perhaps even been fighting there, and you make your way, it's not far, to Oxford University, and there you see very large fires. Excuse me. As you arrive and dawn is just breaking, you see that there are British soldiers, and they are taking the contents of Oxford University's libraries and throwing them onto big, enormous pyres.
They're book burning.
Shit. Oh, and this bothers Captain Pate big time.
Boy, oh boy.
Captain, now I don't want you to get upset. I know how much you love your books, but we gotta stay calm here, okay?
Bastards. Remember I told you, language is everything.
Yes.
Stripped
Except
the
that
culture.
what Captain Pate just said wasn't language is everything. He said Zarfois is everything.
Zafwa is everything. As I said.
Captain,
What?
what did you just say?
I said Zafwa is everything.
Can I?
Okay,
The culture itself, they're trying to mefwe it
Grab
all.
his face. Captain Pate, look at
Dakota,
me. Follow
what's
my
gotten into
finger.
you?
What's gotten into you? And I'm gonna do like a medical check on him and try and do it in a way using my science and my medical expertise. Those are two different skills, but can I think I should be able to use futuristic medical expertise to try and staunch the brainwashing that I feel like is
Interesting.
happening.
Okay, so you want to use medical expertise, and you said you're spending something?
I will spend a point of medical expertise to do like a mental health expertise, because that's a medical need, to see if I can if I can't reverse what I believe is brainwashing that's continuing to happen, maybe I can stop it from seeping into his brain more.
Okay, very good. You do a psychological check on Captain Pate, and because of that, Captain Pate, next time I ask for that stability test, you can add a +1 to it
Okay.
before it gets worse.
I say,
Oh boy.
look, Captain, I think you've been too exposed to the language that shall not be named, and it might start to affect you, and I'm going to need you to be as aware of it as possible, all right? So we can try and keep this from getting worse, okay?
Okay. Thank
Right.
you, Dakota.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice it. Insidious thing.
Well, language is everything, and we'll get yours fixed. We will.
that's right, Captain. Don't worry, we've got your back.
Could you guys... that was awesome. So mechanically, could you spend a point of reality anchor? You have some, right? Like that's basically what it's for.
Yes,
It's like
actually,
it heals some of my damage that I have so far.
Yeah.
I have 2 points in reality.
I have 2 points in reality anchor as well.
You guys have 2 each? Okay, that's not a
Each.
lot. So if you don't want to use it yet, I totally get it. But I from what I understand, reality anchor, you don't roll. It's not something you ever roll.
No, you don't have to
okay,
roll.
you just
It's
use
like
spend a point to do
This
it.
is the only use for it, is to keep your allies
it's like
focused.
medic. You spend a point, and then they get points back.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So
got
it's
it.
up to you. I didn't mean to, but
No, that's good to know that's
What
but that
does.
sounded to me like exactly what you were doing. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm still going to rule that because she was specifically targeting this language, you'll get a +1 next time you roll to resist the language.
Okay.
But she may also use reality anchor to give you back some chronal stability if she wants.
Okay.
What's
If
what's
you
your chronal stability at now, Captain?
want. It's at 8 right now.
Okay.
So I got
I'm
some.
gonna save mine
like 'cause mine's real low.
for me.
I'm gonna hold on to it, and if things get worse, then I know I have that in my back pocket to try and pull things back together.
Lord
Again, I think-
Darvinash! Some soldiers have spotted you in a carriage that was approaching Oxford University,
Whoops.
and they're moving toward you on horses.
Oh no.
We're already too late. Let's go back. Or do we need more info? I mean, the burning books, they're already here.
They're already here. I honestly, I think we need to go back. I know it's tough, Imogene, but I think we need to go back before things were this bad.
Okay,
Let's
I'm
queue up
ready.
the things and just go so that when the soldiers get there,
We're like,
the carriage is
"We're
just
already
empty.
gone."
It rode up. No one walked out of
Yeah.
it. But then they get there and it's just empty.
Okay, so are you, you're clocking out right now?
Yeah, let's clock out.
Clocking out, and let's clock in to 1642.
1642.
8 years ago?
Which is
8
the
years ago?
published understanding of the start of the English Civil War,
Yes, absolutely.
Ooh.
Okay.
considering
Okay.
the
Alright.
real timeline to be. So let's try 8 years in the past. 1642, Oxford. We want to go to Oxford.
Okay, very good. So, you must all make travel tests or spend a stitch.
Yes, that one.
I failed that one.
Oh no!
So I'm at an 8 because I rolled a 2, so I've lost 2 points.
Bubbles
That's
of
okay. It's okay.
years float past you, and then suddenly, whoa, you find yourself. Are you going to the exact same spot, right outside of the university grounds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
I think,
good.
especially because we did it fast. I think it's the fastest thing. We're like, just here, this same spot, 8 years ago.
8 years earlier.
Did you guys ever see Time Machine? With
Oh.
Guy Pearce. Guy Pearce. That's right.
No.
Did you ever see it?
No, but I love Guy Pearce.
I mean, it's based on the I think it's H.G. Wells, right? Has this book. It's based on an old book, but basically, what I love about it makes me think of this is his time machine. It doesn't go anywhere. It stays where it is, and time happens around it. Like it's
Right,
like
I love
super
that.
fast. It's a
Yeah.
really cool special effect, and so he's in real time, just like looking out the window and like a whole building is breaking down and then being rebuilt, and then it's really, really cool. Like literally like Earth is like coming up above it and then
Yeah.
down below it as like millennia pass of like ages of ice ages and shit. It's
I
really
believe
cool.
the producer is George C. Powell, who created a bunch of really cool special effects type movies in the 50s and 60s, and The Time Machine was one of them. Definitely really cool and worth checking out.
awesome.
But in this case, you now find yourself standing outside of Oxford on a warm spring day, and you see learned scholars carrying tomes and moving about.
Okay.
Things look placid here. The English Civil War has not yet hit the university. Everything seems like business as usual. The smell of grass and flowers meets your nose.
I want to stop the nearest passerby and say, "Hello. How are you?"
Good morning.
Ah, very good morning indeed. Okay, as you were. Let him keep walking. I just wanted to make sure he wasn't speaking the
We
black
take our
tongue.
earplugs out. I'm like,
Right.
oh, okay.
We'll remove our earplugs.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Were you there? Sorry, before you go.
yes.
Wait, so I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like an idiot. King Charles is the King of England right now, King Charles I, and is
That's
he
right.
like in what is it called? The palace? Buckingham
He's probably in the
Palace.
tower. Well, Buckingham Palace came later. He's probably in the Tower of London.
The Tower of London. Okay, so that's where he'd be. And do we know why Oxford became a sort of gathering place for this
London
group?
became London a little
Oxford.
later, but I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm saying London became unsafe, and so they were forced to flee to Oxford.
Got it. Okay.
But that has clearly not happened yet.
Understood. All is well in the university. All operating according to the traditions, the proper traditions, my good man.
Well, I don't know if I'd say it's operating according to tradition. We've recently changed the complete mission of the university.
Oh no, you don't say. That mission has stood for 1,000 years. What is it?
Yes, well, we've learned that there really is only one subject worth careful study, haven't we?
Oh, no.
I put my earplugs. I just put my earplugs back in.
Yeah.
And he lifts up a book.
No.
And the book on it, it says First Folio.
And what is this folio?
He has completely revolutionized our language, hasn't he?
Who
I
is
speak,
that?
of course, of the great visionary William Shakespeare.
Oh, no.
Son of a bitch.
Come,
The bar?
I'm about to attend a lecture on his genius.
By him.
Why, by one of the leading scholars on the great William Shakespeare.
What do you think? Tell me
You see,
this.
we found certain words that he created that have special meaning. There's almost sort of a cryptography in his writing that reveals itself on careful study. Come,
Yeah.
you no longer need admittance. All are welcome to join and learn.
We thank you.
No longer need admittance to Oxford? Are you a Rosicrucian?
I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean, madam. But
just
a
people
woman
with
such as yourself should
conspiracies
feel
about-
honored to be able to attend Oxford now.
Well,
Yeah.
so honored.
I know all about your honor. Be on your way. We might follow if we feel like it.
Thank you for your invitation. We'll be there directly.
Am I misunderstanding? Is Shakespeare writing this language into his plays?
I think someone has corrupted the bard himself. I can think of nothing so tragic. This is awful.
I can tell you, based on your contemporary history, that Shakespeare himself introduced over 3,000 words to the English language.
Yeah.
And this time, those words were quite different.
Knee-peck and shit like that.
So this could just be Shakespeare's doing Shakespeare shit. And
You
not
have
like
found patient zero, and it apparently is William Shakespeare.
So cool.
or is it Edward de Vere?
Right, or is it Christopher Marlowe? Or is it Francis Bacon? There are many theories on who actually wrote Shakespeare's works.
Another
And
episode
when we
of my
come back
podcast.
next time, we will find out who the true author is once and for all. And we will stop the alien language which has invaded the crown of England.
Jared, amazing once again. Oh my God. That's so wild. It starts with Britain overtaking France in 1700, and now we're tracing it back to Shakespeare's plays.
Shakespeare?
Come
Of
on.
course, poor Imogene isn't going to survive her chronal instability with a couple more. She's going to run out of stitches soon, so you better solve this puppy in a couple moves because she's going to fade.
We
Only
might have
2
to
eps
leave her.
left. Only 2
Yes,
eps
there's
left.
only 2 eps left to save England from an evil mimetic language. We can do it, guys. Thank you to Paula Deming, Mary Lou, and Joe O'Brien. We will be back next week with more TimeWatch here on the Glass Cannon Network. Love you all. See you next time.